Good morning. Today I'll be showing you one of the greatest RPGs ever made. A game where you will experience extreme Pokemon battles, feed on the homeless, collect messiah complexes, and crime.
Pickpocket!
That's right, fellas. Now I'm talking about Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. Like the majority of Todd Howard's fantasies, our journey begins in captivity. Why? I don't know, and if I'm completely honest, that is probably a very good thing. Anyway, your stay in the Imperial dungeon is a brief one, because the entire Imperial family has just been voted out of life, and the Emperor himself is currently heading your way to make use of a hidden escape tunnel that is conveniently located inside your cell. And because he saw you in a dream and you probably look like a member of his extended family, he hands you the Amulet of Kings, which he asks you to deliver to a retirement home, where you will enlist the help of the elderly to find Sean Bean, so you can sacrifice him to the gods and stop the invasion from hell. And when you're not busy saving the world from our soon-to-be demonic overlords, you can always help them by visiting one of their many shrines, where they will ask you for small favors, such as pranking a whole village into believing that the world is ending by fulfilling an ancient prophecy involving cheese, dead sheep, and popular idioms, or making sure that a liberal social experiment fails by inciting a race war. Like most people, we're going to ignore what the Emperor asks of us and spend the coming 20 to 30 hours or so killing everything that might have a pulse and dragging all of their stuff back to our detached cottage with a view over the bay, which, contrary to real life, didn't force me to rob a drug den just to afford a down payment. But before any of that can happen, we have to create our character. Your choice of race range from the socially acceptable human and fungaloid to, if you see me, you're probably already dead. Being an RPG, you also have to choose a class. You can either pick one of the many pre-made ones or make one of your own. It's not very complicated, so I won't tell you shit. Just know that whatever you do in your quest for self-improvement, be careful. There are things out there that are not meant for mortal ears.
You are pissing me off.
Having created your character and escaped the sewers, it is time to begin your adventure. Have you ever dreamt about delving into old ruins and fight through hordes of its filthy, unwashed denizens in order to claim the extremely optimistically valued artifacts within? Have you ever wanted to explore a huge world and find the rarest, most wonderful creatures the land has to offer, and then hunt them down for sport? Or finally, have you ever wanted to religiously follow a bunch of quest lines from start to finish, where deviation from the path means eternal damnation in the deepest, darkest recesses of hell?
Take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit.
Okay, the last one is just how I play games, but fuck it, let's make it mandatory. And let me tell you about the guilds, and more specifically about the Thieves Guild. The Thieves Guild are a group of fun-loving scamps led by one of the original furries, who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. And if they somehow can prank someone along the way, that's all the better. Being a fully-fledged guild, they naturally have some rules. Don't steal from other members or from the poor, and never kill on the job. Did I follow them? No. You see, when you've been lured into a cave underneath a 300-year-old vampire lord's basement because you tried to steal his Jordans, and he's about to turn you into his new and soon-to-be very well-used bride, you quickly find out what's truly important in life. There are two main ways to get money in this game. The first one is by selling all the stuff you collect on your adventures to one of the many vendors around the world, which I don't because all the vendors fucking hate me. Sure, their problem could probably be solved by dumping a bunch of time into the mercantile skill, but since I'm not a member of the chosen people, I don't go where I don't belong.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
The second way is by putting all of your hard-earned money inside the pants of this man, Dorian. Having secured your financial situation, you can join the Mages Guild. Do I need a solid financial base to join the Mages Guild, I hear you ask? No, not really, no. But, not unlike any other school, in order to not be ostracized by your fellow students, you need that sick-ass drip, my guy. And trust me, that ain't cheap. Personally, I go with the blood-stained robes of a necromancer, which is a rather bold move, especially since the Archmage has banned all use of necromancy. But what can I say? I'm a rebel. Other than that, the Arcane University is like any other school. It has very little to do with magic and a whole lot to do with scheming, lying, and inevitably having its principal committing suicide in front of the student body. Early on, you get to create your very own Mage's staff. You can basically put anything on it, so if you don't pick paralyzation, you can get the fuck out. Especially since I used it to paralyze the final boss of the game, ex-Prime Minister and cult leader David Cameron, and then I beat him to death with my bare hands. After having spent a lot of time in the hustle and bustle of the big city, it is always nice to get out to the countryside and reconnect with nature as you figure out your next move in life. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible, because the moment you set a foot outside the boundaries of civilization, you'll find yourself under constant attack. You see that pig over there? Yeah, he sees you too, and he's gonna chase you to the ends of the earth for the audacity of stepping outside the safety of your city walls. It might not always be a pig, but it will always be to the death. While there might seem to be pockets of civilization dotted around the world which you understandably might believe offer a modicum of safety, you are wrong. This nice cozy inn by the side of the road is not actually a nice cozy inn at all. It is the den of an insidious poisoner who kills their victims with the help of potato bread laced with solanin. You see the ship moored outside the city walls? It is currently occupied by a vicious gang of sheep smugglers. Why are they smuggling livestock, you ask? I don't know. But the things you'll see inside will haunt you more than those you'll see inside the actually haunted ship moored right next door. Then we have this Khajiit. He is, well, the name says it all, really. Speaking of weapons, or the lack thereof, the Fighters Guild is the biggest pile of pansy-ass, milk-drinking goblin founders out there. But they do allow you to torture a guy, so they're alright in my book. They are currently experiencing somewhat of a crisis. A group of Canadians have recently snuck past the border and are currently stealing all of the jobs. How do we solve this issue? Violently. We break into their safe ruins and reintegrate as many of them into the ground as humanly possible. Because they can't take our jobs if they're fucking dead. And while you might not call them members of family, that's not really a problem. Because all you need to do in order to get that feeling of unconditional love is by murdering someone. However, monsters and random furries you find along the road won't cut it, because your victim must have a soul. Personally, I chose the Lighthouse Keeper. It wasn't premeditated, but it could be argued that he brought it upon himself. After you sleep the next time, you will be woken up by this guy, Lucien Lachance, who will offer you the opportunity to be adopted by a spooky ghost mom and her dread demon daddy. Except, and he will start the best questline in the entire game.
Get me some skooma and we'll be good friends. Okay.
The Dark Brotherhood is fucking amazing, and the fact that you had to kill someone in order to join blew my young mind when I played the game for the first time. It's basically an assassin's guild, where we're all one big happy family who happens to kill people for money, and a small hope of getting a "well done son, I'm proud of you" from our dread demon father. Oh, and at one point you get to steal the head of someone's mom, which is pretty fucking hilarious. If I had to recommend a single quest for someone to play, it's definitely one from the Dark Brotherhood. The quest is called Whodunit, and the entire thing is basically an Agatha Christie-style murder mystery, where you are the murderer, everybody dies, and no one solves the mystery. Oblivion is a goddamn experience, and that's only the main game. There's also 2 expansion packs that I highly recommend. And sure, the Caves and Ruins might not be the most inspired, but the Horse Armor DLC more than makes up for it. And that's pretty much it. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we start a nuclear war, because someone said I was the dumbest motherfucker to ever live.
That the best you can do? It's the great boss. You're under arrest.